Terence Crawford, if that fight happened in September, are you favoring him?
That's a tough one because we can all see it. Canelo's declining. We can see it.
Oscar De La Hoya crushed the Canelo versus Crawford hype with a brutal take that's shaking the boxing world.
Crawford, I mean, he's the same age as well, you know?
37.
Different types of lifestyles, different styles. Canelo's getting into some wars now.
Oscar De La Hoya stirred the pot with a bold statement that's already making waves ahead of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight, calling into question the credibility of what many are calling the biggest event in boxing this year. De La Hoya didn't hold back. The boxing legend and former promoter of Canelo took to social media with a sharp critique, claiming both fighters are past their best and questioning why this bout is being billed as such a monumental clash. According to him, Crawford is aging, Canelo is slowing down, and neither has looked unbeatable in recent outings. It was a controversial take, one that instantly split opinions across the boxing community. He posted, "So hear me out, Crawford will be 38 and Canelo is 35. Crawford hasn't fought in a year and got exposed by Madrimov. Canelo has been getting exposed for the past few years. Can anyone please explain to me how this is the biggest fight in boxing?" The fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, set for September 13th, is without a doubt one of the most anticipated matchups of the year. Originally slated for September 12th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, the date was shifted by Turki Alalshik on May 13th, catching fans and pundits off guard. The venue remains under wraps, but the hype hasn't slowed down one bit. Still, De La Hoya's comments have added a different layer to the narrative, suggesting that the bout may be more about names than current ability.
You know, Canelo's getting into some wars now, which kind of like chips away at the block, you know. Do I favor him over Canelo? I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 fight at this point, given where they're at their careers.
But if you had to give somebody 1%,
last one here,
1%,
1%, I would go with Canelo.
Crawford, who is fresh off his victory over Israel Madrimov in August, where he claimed the WBA light middleweight belt, now faces the challenge of stepping up to 168 pounds to take on Canelo. Despite being a 3-division world champion with an undefeated record of 41 wins and 31 knockouts, Crawford has never fought at super middleweight. At 38 years old, he's preparing for a move that many consider risky, especially against someone like Canelo, who has proven dominance in that weight class.
When did it come to a point, how long ago was it for yourself when you realised that the Canelo Alvarez fight is a possibility for you?
Just you know what I mean, looking over the landscape of boxing and the opportunities and the accomplishment that Canelo had, and you know, sizing them up and things like that. I know we ain't never been in the ring before, but you know, it's a great opportunity for me in my career.
And that idea of yourself of chasing greatness, inside, how much does that excite you over that, with it all together, that idea of chasing greatness? It's always something you've done, to do that sort of stepping up in weights. How much is that an exciting proposition for you?
Oh, it's very exciting. It's like throwing gasoline on a bucket of fire. You know, I'm very competitive, and I'm looking to be competitive in a fight in September.
Canelo Alvarez recently made history again by becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion for the second time in his career. He secured this status after defeating William Skull on May 3rd in Riyadh, a fight that added to his already impressive legacy. That win brought his record to 63 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 39 of those wins coming by knockout. But while Canelo's resume remains elite, not everyone was thrilled with his performance against Skull. Critics pointed out that Skull's constant movement seemed to frustrate the Mexican superstar, making him look less dynamic than usual.
When it comes to Canelo versus William Skull that was just pathetic. That shit, he was terrifying. You can't win no damn fight like that. All right, I mean, by the numbers, Canelo only landed 1 punch more than William Skull, but he landed far more power punches than William Skull even landed jabs. But you have to understand what a power punch is. A power punch is anything outside of a jab. When you know that a power punch is anything outside of a jab, and you see that William Skull is punching like this, some power punches landed, while Canelo was stalking him and landing hard shots. His power punch just was more aesthetically appealing. and you felt that it caused more damage. That's why he won the fight.
Crawford, despite coming into the bout as the smaller man, is taking the size difference in stride. He has been adding weight gradually and spending more time in the gym, aiming to be as ready as possible for the heavier division. The idea of size being a decisive factor isn't new in boxing, and many believe it could make a huge difference in this matchup. But Crawford isn't convinced. He believes skills will outweigh size, and he's relying on his experience, ring IQ, and adaptability to close the physical gap.
And he's always the smallest person in his division. When you got Usyk fighting Tyson Fury, you know, Tyson Fury was the massive fighter over Usyk, and you know, the bigger guy didn't win neither fight. So I just think in this case, a lot of people is just going off of other people's opinion. Oh, well.
I'm not even so sure Canelo will be the bigger guy.
He'd probably be thicker, but I'm taller.
Yeah.
You know, he have his strong points in the fight. I have mine, so that's why you.
For Crawford, this fight represents more than just another title shot. It's an opportunity to share the ring with one of the sport's biggest stars. Despite De La Hoya's doubts, Crawford remains confident that this is the right challenge at the right time. He acknowledged Canelo's global appeal and admitted that no other fighter would be more suitable for a high-stakes bout like this. Crawford respects Canelo's accomplishments and views the upcoming clash as a meeting between two all-time greats. But De La Hoya's skepticism hasn't gone unnoticed. He pointed to Crawford's age and recent activity, noting that the Omaha native hasn't fought in a year and looked less than dominant against Madrimov despite getting the win. As for Canelo, De La Hoya claimed that the Mexican champion has been gradually declining for years, suggesting that fans and analysts might be holding on to an outdated version of who Canelo really is today.
A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead man walking anyway. But a good little man never beats a good big man, so it's a tough test for Crawford, but I'm not counting him out. The bottom line, this is the truth again.
In contrast to De La Hoya's stance, many in the boxing community are still fully behind the fight. The matchup is being billed as a true battle between two elite fighters who have each carved out remarkable legacies. While it's true that both are in their mid to late 30s, they're also among the most experienced and technically gifted boxers of this era. Kyrone Davis, a fighter who has shared the ring with both Canelo and Crawford in sparring sessions, also weighed in on the matchup. He believes preparation will be everything. Davis noted that Crawford has been training at a heavier weight for a while, which should help with the transition to the super middleweight division. However, Davis ultimately leaned toward Canelo as the favorite due to his comfort at 168 pounds and natural power in that weight class. In his view, the size difference could be too much to overcome. Still, Davis acknowledged that if anyone has the skill and mentality to beat the odds, it's Terence Crawford.
You've been in there with Crawford?
Yeah.
So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been in there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is going to definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely going to help him. Canelo's experience, but then you got Crawford, he got great experience as well. It's going to be a great fight. It's going to be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody could do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Dimitri Bivol, one of the few men to have defeated Canelo, also weighed in. After observing Canelo's performance against Skull, Bivol noted that Crawford presents a very different puzzle. Unlike Skull, who opted for a more passive strategy, Crawford is aggressive and relentless, often using tempo and activity to dictate the flow of a fight. Bivol believes that this style could force Canelo out of his comfort zone, just as Bivol did when they fought. The Russian champion emphasized that Crawford's pace could deny Canelo the space and rest he often uses to reset and plan his attacks.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think the fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, you know, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he wanna rest, he could rest easy, you know, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. He just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know.
From someone who knows both fighters inside the ropes, Amir Khan offered a unique perspective. Having fought Canelo and been stopped, and also having been outclassed by Crawford, Khan spoke to the often underestimated power Crawford carries. He recalled the deceptiveness of Crawford's punches, how they didn't look heavy but landed with surprising force. For Khan, the true challenge for Canelo isn't just about size or power, it's about facing a fighter who thinks faster and sees everything before it happens. He described Crawford as a master of timing and positioning, which, in his opinion, could allow him to neutralize Canelo's physical advantages.
How much from sharing the ring with him and doing the camps with him, what benefits would Crawford had to be fighting against a bigger man? Is it the ring IQ, dominating the center? Like, what benefits do you think he has?
You need everything in the game. You need from your ring IQ, you need the movement, you need the power, you need the speed. And Crawford does hit hard. A lot of people don't give Crawford the credit for the punch power he has. But Crawford does hit hard. I mean, I've been in the ring with him. He's hit me hard. Obviously, the most powerful fighter in between the two is going to be Canelo. But I think Crawford.
Khan elaborated further by noting how Crawford's intelligence in the ring often gets overlooked. Though Canelo is undoubtedly stronger and more natural at 168 pounds, Khan maintained that Crawford's speed, timing, and mental sharpness could be the tools he needs to stay competitive or even win. He didn't deny the dangers that come with facing someone like Canelo, but made it clear that Crawford has more than just heart going into this fight. He has the mind to match.
I'm going to support my boy, Terence Crawford. He's a good friend of mine. Obviously, we fought each other, but sometimes you put that to a side, and he shared the training camp with me last time. He spent some good time with me. I was at his house, and always shows love. So, look, he's one of the best fighters in the world. For him to go up 2 divisions is something I did back in the day when I was at the peak of my career after beating like Devin Alexander and all the big names. So look, I wish him all the very best, and I think he can do it. You know what I mean? One thing about Terence Crawford, he has great box IQ. His IQ is so perfect where he'll see everything, so yeah.
Jim Lampley offered a more measured take. While he admired Crawford's skill set, he admitted concern about how much of that would translate into success at a higher weight. Lampley acknowledged that attributes like quickness, precision, and reflexes, Crawford's strengths, might suffer under the strain of extra pounds and heavier punches. For Lampley, this wasn't a fight about who's better on paper, but whether Crawford's tools would still function at the same level under such a dramatic shift in physical dynamics.
What do you think about the fight now that you just witnessed Canelo Alvarez again in the masterclass performance?
I love Terence Crawford, and I want him to have what he wants. But off of what I saw tonight and what I saw in Los Angeles last month when Crawford was fighting Madrimov, I am more than ever concerned that he's not big enough, and not big enough to be able to move around the ring and muscle Canelo in the way that he would have to ward off those really vicious inside.
Hall of Famer Bernard Hopkins added another layer to the discussion by focusing on the cost of the challenge. Rather than talking strictly about the outcome, Hopkins questioned whether this kind of leap, both in weight and competition, was worth the toll it might take on Crawford's long-term health and career. From his point of view, the risk was enormous, and not just because of the opponent standing across the ring.
Crawford cares about his life, and with that fight, what do that fight do for Canelo? Fighting Crawford, and Crawford beats Canelo. What do that do for Canelo? I just think that there are so many other fights to make that's realistic and makes sense. And less life risk.
Errol Spence Jr., who was recently defeated by Crawford, also offered insight. He admitted that moving up in weight to face Canelo was a gamble, but he respected Crawford's willingness to pursue greatness. For Spence, Crawford had earned the right to attempt something that ambitious, and if anyone could pull it off, it would be a fighter with his adaptability and drive.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
You know,
he's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at what 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Roy Jones Jr. flipped the narrative slightly by shifting the pressure back onto Canelo. He argued that expectations would weigh more heavily on Alvarez. Canelo is the bigger man, the reigning champion, and the face of boxing. For Jones, any hint of vulnerability on Canelo's part could be interpreted as a disappointment, while Crawford, by contrast, would be lauded for simply making it a competitive fight.
Buddy Canelo? Huh? Buddy Canelo, who you got?
It's a tough fight. It's like I said, it's Canelo's fight to lose. If he fight the wrong fight, he's gonna lose.
Not everyone shared these thoughtful views. Raleigh Romero offered a blunt, brutal prediction, expecting Crawford to suffer a knockout loss reminiscent of Amir Khan's defeat at the hands of Canelo. For Romero, this wasn't a tactical battle or a philosophical debate. It was a mismatch based purely on physicality, and he didn't expect it to last long.
So, all the people who think Crawford would even have a single chance against Canelo, they're fucking stupid.
Really, you have a way with words like nobody else.
No, but I hate it when people say that. They're fucking stupid.
On the other end of the spectrum, Shakur Stevenson gave Crawford his full backing. He acknowledged the scale of the challenge, but believed in Crawford's mental toughness and ability to adapt in real time. Stevenson was confident that Crawford could find a way to surprise not just Canelo, but the entire boxing world. Robert Garcia broke the fight down from a strategic angle. He envisioned Crawford having early success through movement and speed, but predicted that Canelo's pressure and body work would gradually take over. While Garcia respected Crawford's skills, he saw the late rounds as a danger zone, where Canelo's power might shift the momentum decisively.
You know, your skills, speed, try to fight on the outside, you know, and, you know, he does have skills, man. He is a real talented fighter, so I think he's going to put up really good rounds, maybe at least 5 or 6 rounds. He's gonna put up really good rounds. Eventually, I think later rounds, Canelo starts catching him, breaking him down. But I do see Crawford putting up. Crawford's, you know, he's the man. He's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. He's very talented. I think he will put up a good fight.
You said Canelo maybe later in the rounds comes on, you know, and puts pressure on him. But Canelo more recently, the later rounds, you know, it's a little like slower, maybe gives up a couple of them because he's already kind of won. That'd be kind of a different strategy, right? Like, can he still do that?
It has to, but he has to, because I think the first half, I think it'll be Crawford's fight. You know, I might be wrong also, because Canelo's also very talented. Let's not take that away from him. He's very talented, but I do see Crawford maybe taking the first few rounds, the first half of the fight, and then Canelo forcing himself to pressure and try to dominate it that way, because knowing that he might be a little bit behind, he's gonna be forced to do it. And he's got the strength, he's got the power, he's got the skills to do that too.
Jaron Boots Ennis, who initially viewed the matchup as balanced, later changed his mind in favor of Canelo. He voiced concern about Crawford entering such a demanding fight without easing into the weight class first. Ennis pointed out that Canelo has consistently dealt with large, strong opponents, and doubted that Crawford had ever encountered the kind of physical dominance Canelo brings.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. You know, it's gonna be a great fight. You know, the fans want to see it. So, you know, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. at like 60 or like at least at 60, just to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Danny Garcia also expressed skepticism after watching Crawford's win over Israel Madrimov at 154 pounds. He wasn't convinced that Crawford could carry knockout power into the super middleweight division. In Garcia's eyes, Canelo would be too strong and too sturdy for Crawford's shots to make a real impact.
Crawford has been active and he's been a champion his whole career. That's something you got to give Crawford for. You got to give Crawford his flowers. He's really been a champion since 2012. Has never not been a champion. So he has the champion's mindset. He is going up to 168. So that's a steep hill to climb. He has the tools, but I think Canelo's gonna. My personal opinion, I think Canelo's going to be too much for him.
Still, for those who view boxing as more than a battle of physiques, there was appreciation for what this matchup represents. Jim Lampley described the fight as a rare clash between two masters of their craft. He praised both men, Crawford for his tactical brilliance and fluid offense, and Canelo for evolving into a complete fighter since his early loss to Floyd Mayweather. For Lampley, this was more than just a test of weight, it was a contest of legacies.
You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time Canelo beats himself. If he gets tired of all the discipline he has had to employ to make all the money he's made, if he has enough giant ranches in the Yucatan, if he has enough beautiful horses, if he has had enough unforgettable dinners with Mexican billionaires in Mexico City and Vegas, then maybe. But my guess is he will retire without incurring another loss, because it's important to him to do that.
However, Julio Cesar Chavez didn't see much to consider. He dismissed the bout as little more than a commercial move and predicted a clean, emphatic win for Canelo, ending with a knockout. In his view, Crawford didn't stand much of a chance.
Bueno, es una pelea muy dispareja, la verdad. Crawford es un gran peleador, pero no tiene nada que hacer en ese peso. Con todo respeto, él va por el dinero y Canelo lo va a noquear.
The two fighters are going to be different weight classes, even though they're going to fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money. Crawford.
Veteran analyst Teddy Atlas saw things differently. He highlighted the historical precedent of smaller fighters overcoming bigger ones through superior strategy and skill. While he admitted that Crawford was facing uphill odds, Atlas found the matchup intriguing precisely because of what it demanded. Not just strength or resilience, but genius in the ring.
He had trouble with a 154-pound guy when he went up from welterweight to that. So now he's going up to 168. Teddy, come on. How are you going to make an argument? Can make an argument to this, to the history of this sport, where little guys have been able to beat big guys, because you reverse it. You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, well, maybe he's got the advantages. Like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya. And I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight and all that. I get it, and that's fair. But still, I remember I picked that one. Well, every once in a while I pick one right. I remember that I picked that one where Pacquiao's going to win. And I said, yeah, you're saying that De La Hoya's bigger, he's stronger. He's got the power edge, he's got this edge. But the other guy's quicker. And that's going to be an edge. And it was an edge. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way, where he's got instincts that not everyone has. Yeah. That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do. And I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy.
Whether fans agree with De La Hoya or not, his comments have sparked an important conversation about timing, legacy, and what truly makes a fight big in today's boxing world. As both camps continue to prepare, the debate will rage on, but when the bell rings on September 13th, all the talk will be silenced, and the answer will come in the form of punches, strategy, and sheer willpower. The world will finally get to see if Terence Crawford can conquer yet another division, or if Canelo Alvarez will once again prove why he's considered the face of boxing.